now, welcome to part 3 of the 2021 update from the People's Lawyer, helping business owners fight the tyranny and making it possible, lawful for them to stay open without suffering unduly. So today's question is, what other methods are there that business owners can use to defend their interests? Well, the first one is a fairly simple, practical remedy, which is to take any documentation, any paperwork that you receive in the post. Don't open it. Now, I know people will say, well, how will I know if I don't open it? How will I know what's inside it? Well, you'll know because it's not going to be a Christmas card from your mum. Most mail these days is not really wanted. They are demands for something from someone who shouldn't be making any demands. So what you can do is simply in blue at 45-degree angles, as you'll see on screen now, place across it on the front of the envelope, return to sender, returned for cause without dishonor, no legal contract, no lawful consent, offer to contract declined. Now I noticed that on my version here, I've got declined underlined. You don't really need to underline decline, but it won't do any harm. So the idea is that we're in commerce, and in commerce you have 3 days in which to accept or reject an offer. That's all they're doing. Whatever it is inside of their envelope, it's only an offer from a corporation to do business. Nothing more, nothing less. And in international maritime law, the law of the sea, the law of commerce, the law of contract, you have 72 hours in which to return this offer, ideally unopened and with the endorsement that I've just walked you through. It's not the only remedy, as we'll see in a minute, because in the ordinary course of business, without thinking, you will open the envelope and you'll read inside that it's a notice of fine or a notice of closure or a notice of closure order. The first thing to realize is that notices have no legal effect unless you consent to them. It's like a bit of a whisper. It's, by the way, we'd just like to tell you that unless you do certain things, we might do certain things. It doesn't mean very much. So as a notice, it has no legal effect, as I was saying, but you can give it some kind of legal effect, but trump it with your own offer or acceptance, but it's going to be a conditional. Now, I'm just going to put on screen the kind of wording that you're going to use. So what we're doing here is we're applying the principles of commerce because, like I said before, it's an offer to contract in commerce. So what you can do is say, I'm going to comply, but it will cost you to comply, for me to comply. Okay, so if they're doing business and giving you an order, your charges and a notice of order, a notice of fine is equivalent to an order. Your charges for complying with that order are, so you can consult your fee schedule to see how much you should be charging. And in your letter, you will write something like, we agreed to comply with your closure notice or your notice of fine on strict condition that Pirates of Penzance Council, via its chief executive officer or chief financial officer, agrees to pay our costs as follows. 1, loss of income, X amount of pounds per day. Loss of goodwill, X amount of pounds per day. Distress, it says here £3,000. You may have another figure. If you're particularly stressed, it may be much higher than that. Bear in mind that if you send someone a claim, a frivolous and vexatious claim in county court, and it distresses them, they can claim anything up to £7,500 for that distress. So this is going to be at least as heavy on the nervous system as a frivolous claim in the county court, because you'll be probably visited by officious-looking council people and probably with the police escort. So in this section, we've looked at applying principles of commerce, and then in the next section, we will look at how to deal with arrest, and in the final section, we'll look at tying everything up together. So thank you again for watching The People's Lawyer. You can get more information from the public channel on Telegram, and look out for other videos, other resources that are now being put online for everyone to see. We are at war, and I'll explain more about that in part 5. Thank you very much, and speak to you soon.